Hi guys, welcome here. I'm back again, and today I want to talk about the POPI Act that will become enforceable on the 1st of July 2021. Now, the POPI Act was signed into law in 2013, but now, in a few days or weeks' time, every organization, public and private, will have to implement and comply with the POPI Act. So if you're asking me what the POPI Act is all about, then I'm asking you, where were you all the time? Everybody is talking about it in the media, and there's so much information on the internet on the POPI Act or POPIA. So I'm just going to give you a snapshot of my reading. I'm no legal expert, so I'm just giving you some thoughts and some information from what I've gleaned from the articles that I've read. And of course, I attended a wonderful webinar run by the Mail and Guardian on the POPI Act. So, yes, what is the POPI Act all about? The POPI Act is a regulation that stipulates that you need to protect the personal information or the personal data that you collect of people, right? So POPI stands for the protection of personal information. So you can speak about the POPI Act, or in some cases, people refer to the act as POPIA. So, what must you do at the school? Because you collect a lot of personal information about your parents and your learners. And so, what is Poppy saying? What should you do once you have collected and processed that personal data? Okay, so when we talk about personal data, we are talking about all that personal information that can help to identify you as a person. So that means that the personal information will be covered by your name, your surname, your contact details like your physical address, your electronic mail addresses. It will cover your information about your religion, about your culture, about the race, about your voice, because there are now voice recognition mechanisms. It will cover aspects like biometrics, where your face recognition mechanisms will help to identify who you are, and it will include all other personal information like your ID and etc. So when you read, you will get a lot of that information, right? So POPI now regulates that all organizations, be it natural persons or juristic persons, must protect and secure the personal data that you collect. Okay, so POP is one of the only acts, according to that Mail and Guardian webinar that I was listening to, where even juristic persons are covered. Now remember, the school governing body is a juristic person, which means that the SGB can sue and can be sued. So it's important that the POPI Act is understood not only by the school leaders, your SMT, and by your teachers, but also by your SGB and, of course, your parents. Okay? So, what exactly does POPI say about the protection of personal information? Firstly, the regulation speaks about that you need to store that personal information securely. You must protect the privacy of that information and the confidentiality of that information. You must also ensure that there is no unauthorized access to that information. So you're going to have to start looking at who has access to all the personal information or personal data that you have at your school, and do they really need to have access to that kind of information. And I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Say, for example, you have details of parents' banking account or accounts. And so, is it really necessary for all the individuals who work with that personal information to have access to that data, right? And the POPI Act is very prescriptive in terms of personal information concerning children. So, what should schools then be doing to understand how to implement POPI? Now, the one important aspect is that you need to understand what personal information you are collecting, how you are processing that information, and where you are storing that information. You must also check to see whether the personal information that you are collecting is being collected for a good reason, and that you will then also declare that reason to the parents, for example, so that they understand why you need that specific information as well. And then, of course, I have mentioned that there shouldn't be any unauthorized access to that personal information, and you can't also disclose that personal information or that personal data that you have collected. So, once you have collected that personal information about your parents and your learners, you cannot just share that information with a third party. Because if you do that, then according to POPI, or POPIA, you will be guilty of a security breach, a private security breach. Okay? And if you don't comply with POPIA, then you can be fined or you can even be imprisoned. So you must go back and read on the POPIA Act, and then make sure that you speak to your district education officials, like your circuit manager, to help you workshop what the POPIA Act is all about. And then, of course, the POPIA Act does stipulate that you need to engage in training of all your employees. And of course, you have to embark on awareness campaigns, because the POPIA Act applies to everybody that works at a particular organization. Okay, so that is sort of just a snapshot of the POPIA Act. And I thought I need to just underscore that I'm not a legal expert. I'm just sharing what I've read about the POPIA Act. And so in the second video on the POPIA Act, I'm just going to dive a little bit deeper into what are the implications for the school, and what does POPI say, what should you have in place by the 1st of July. So it was lovely being back again. I enjoy this, where we empower each other, where we inspire one another, and of course we motivate one another, because the more knowledge you have, the more effective and the more competent you will be, and it will help you to run your school as a high performing school. So on that note, cheerio. See you.